Hey guys, welcome back to Dark Souls 3. Okay, so it took me a while to set stuff up. I was making sure I had this character ready for DLC. So I spent about 15 minutes setting stuff up and making sure my recording and stuff was set up properly. So you'll notice since last time I am wearing very different stuff. I've decided I'm going to go with Uria's stuff. It has obviously less armor than the stuff I was wearing previously. You can see the armor is kind of meh on it. If I look at my resistances, 22% slash, which is at least it's the resistance I want for the melee ones, and the dark resistance and fire resistance is decently high. Could go with more magic, but oh well. That's what I'm running. You'll also notice I've got myself a strange setup of a Lorian's Great Sword and a simple gem, and the reason for that is I can do this, and the simple gem restores my mana. Like, I think it's like 1 mana per second, and as long as you have 1 mana, I can do that forever. So it's mostly there just for the extra damage in PvE. This weapon is probably more of a PvP weapon, I'd imagine, so we'll see how this works out. I know for a fact when I get to a certain boss in the DLC, I'm going to want to switch out to something better. But for now, this setup works for me. So yeah, my blind playthrough of the DLC took about 6.5 hours. And probably 2.5 of those were against the first boss I found. But that's because I was trying to use this weapon. Gotta skip this. This guy, he talks so slow. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be skipping some of his dialogue where it gets really slow because, my god. Sure, why not? Alright. Now, I'm not gonna front, I accidentally skipped a couple cutscenes in the DLC. Like, when I was doing my blind playthrough, that is. Not this one. Like, I'm so used now to just doing new game pluses and different characters in this game that I just skip cutscenes. So I'm gonna have to try really hard not to skip any cutscenes here. And there I go. And yes, I know Uria's costume is a woman's costume, but you know what? Who cares? The reason I'm wearing it will become apparent when we do get to the first boss. And then I'll probably switch back to something more traditional for the second. Now, you may have also noticed I'm not playing online. There's a reason for that. And the reason is the second I step out into the first main area, it's going to boot me offline anyway because my frame rate's going to die. And that is the Battle of the Dark Souls 3 PvP. Your frame rate dies, guess what? You can't play online. Oops. Shit. See, it's just trying to pick up an item, you asshole. This guy's terrible, too. I think I accidentally bumped my microphone there. Say anything new I don't think you do. Find one for yourself. And I think he just repeats that, so okay. Now, fair warning, I've ran through this DLC. There is some really long side areas that lead to absolutely nothing. So as a result, I've decided beforehand I'm just going to go and try and get all the weapons. And maybe the spells. I don't remember what the spells are, though. Hopefully they're just along the way. But I will make an effort to just get the weapons for you guys. Like, am I going to grab, like, a hollow gem or a poison gem that's at a dead end surrounded by free enemies? Maybe not. Am I going to grab, like, a pile of souls that's at a dead end surrounded by free enemies? Probably not. Now, am I going to grab a weapon that's guarded by a bunch of, like, raging beasts? I will make an effort. Okay, this thing has a lot of power. Yeah. So here's the reason I wanted this sword. It's because I could just do this. It's the equivalent of an instant win against these guys. And done. There's a spear thrower on me. Alright. Oh, there he is. Thrust counterattack. Nothing can survive the thrust counterattack. Or the backstab. Jesus, this game is loud. What the hell? I don't remember the game being this loud. And I swear I just turned it down by like an extra notch too to try and mitigate that. That tree's not alive, okay. I was wondering because of the fire. Just barely got him. Alright. So, now if you go back there, there's a poison gem over there surrounded by two more of these guys. I don't really care for it. I think there's also a soul back there somewhere too. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to proceed to get fucked. This area is terrible. However, it is quite easy to run through. Goodbye. So as you can hear, there's more than one wolf around. And guess what? They're all terrible. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, first weapon. That's why I came up here. And now time to never go that way again. So as you can see, there's this many wolves in the area. That's right, I have a roll attack with this. Should probably use it more often. Because if I can hit with it, it counts as a thrust counterattack, I believe. So as you can tell, there's a lot of doggos around here. Like, I've literally just created, like, Dog Body Mountain. Now, do you see why I didn't want to stand down here and fight them one at a time? Like, terrible. This entire area. Now, because it's a quick run, if I do die, what I'm going to do is I am going to attempt to fight Big Wolf over here. Big Wolf on campus. Shit. That attack can only be dodged, it can't be blocked, by the way. And that attack is really bad, too. Shit. He's gonna do the charge. I know him. And no, he will not launch himself off the cliff. I've tested this many times. Big Wolf is hard to fight. This is not the weapon for this. I definitely need a quicker weapon. Shit. Why'd I try this? Okay. We're in trouble. Come on, I thought I rolled that. And I'm dead. So we're not going to do that again. Instead, I'm going to do my usual strategy, which is never fight him ever. It works out 80% of the time. Actually, it works out more than 80%. It works out like 100%. I've never died while I just ran past him. If I am going to fight him, I'm going to have to switch to a real weapon. And not just a joke weapon. Because that went poorly. Like, I could have probably done it if I was trying, but... Who's speaking? Is that just the guy in the cave? I think it's just alluding to the fact that he's there in case you haven't talked to him the first time. Well, either way, I'm going to show you guys the run strat. Which, if you are doing the run strat, normally you wouldn't be running this way, but... Like I said, I'm going to the optional area where you can find nothing but weapons. And if I get a level up, I'm putting it in the stamina immediately. I'm going to need it. So as you can see, the run strat so far, working out. Then there's these guys. Yeah. That's why I run past everything. And this is where my frame rate would die and it would kick me offline and I'd be respawned in the world and everything would probably not be okay. So now for reasons, I'm going to run up these stairs because I don't want to be down there. Oh shit, he came down. He wasn't supposed to do that. Matter of fact, 90% of the time he doesn't do that. That's actually bad because there's a chance a second one followed me in. Which he didn't, but if he did, I would have been dead right there. Because the guy that follows you in is actually much more dangerous than this guy. So I'm going to give this guy a fair chance. Shit, I missed. And I'm dead. I thought for sure that R2 would hit. God. Like, well, I guess we get to do the run again. And this is like the first hour of the DLC for me, was just me figuring out this run and looting this tower and the area around it. I'm gonna have to get good at fighting these guys again. Should not have taken like 4 days between doing the DLC and then recording this. Matter of fact, I wanted to do it 3 days ago, but I had the recording time until now, so guess what? Time to go in slightly rusty. Knowing what you have to do is definitely not enough for this DLC. You have to actually be like on top of your game for some of this shit. And I will say my running game is definitely on point. I wish I had way more stamina than I do, though. Goodbye. Like I said, the wolves I'm not really overly concerned about. They can be outran fairly easily and reliably, too. Whoa, he actually chased me up here. That's the first time that's ever happened. I don't think I've ever seen him chase me this far up. Take a heal. What was that attack? I wasn't trying to run any attack. Thank you, poise. And goodbye. That's why I like the, what's it called? The L2 on this weapon, because it gives me insane poise, and I can basically poise through shit that should stagger me. It's kind of unfair, actually. But this weapon is great because of it. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the top of this before the buff wears out. Bump my microphone again. I really need to stop rubbing my face when I'm recording. Force of habit. Alright. I don't think you can actually boot this guy off the ledge. You can backstab him. I'd rather do this. Oh, you can boot him off the ledge. I don't think I've ever managed that before. Usually he takes a swing and then poises through my attack. Speaking of which, crystal lizards. So there's a few of those in the DLC. I'm gonna try get most of them, but no promises. And there's the oak shield. Can't remember if there's another floor to this. I believe there is. So of course I will go for it. I'll get that layer, because there is a much easier way to get to that. I don't actually think there's anything you can drop down onto out here. Nor would I ever want to. Because, like, it's certain death. Like, I don't even see anything you could land on. So I'm probably never going to try. I am there. Now I need to be very careful. Very careful indeed. Because the item I want is right there. And there we go, the Millwood Battle Axe, and that leaves like one weapon in this area, and it's the hardest one to get to. Drink up again. I've got a lot of Estus, there's no reason not to. And I will read these item descriptions next bonfire I get to. Assuming I get to it without dying again, which is very unlikely because this next zone is gonna suck as well. I might actually have to clear out some of this zone too just to get there. Actually, no, he just walked past. So that's progress. Down there is a homeward bone and I think a few souls. Maybe a spell, I don't think so, but could be one. And a law of trees over here. Now, the thing about trees is they're bastards. And they cast spells. Bastard trees that cast spells. And there goes my Lloyd's sword ring bonus. As expected. There's a few more of these. More than a few more. There's like one on every cliff. And that should be it for doggos up here. That tree is fake. So here's the real danger. Damn it, wolf. Stop turning my camera. I need to run. Real fast. Because those guys are no joke. Goodbye. One down. I think the Arrowwind went back to his position. If so, I think I've won this encounter. Ah, God. These guys are really high stress. Like to deal with. Because that is the follow-up to that. And we traded blows. But I won. Thanks to health. And yeah, these guys are really not worth fighting. They only drop Titanite shards. But it's worth the Millwood Greatbow. And I don't think there's anything down there. It just loops back down to Wolf Platform. So now what I'm going to say, since I've cleared this top plateau, and down there's where the wolves are, we came in, like, straight across here. You can't see it because of the snow, but if you go up the hill, and you drop down, there's a lot more of these trees that we killed, and a lot more wolves. And then it goes down and around, and then there's a bonfire. So that's actually the way the speedrunners would go, is they'd basically make progress and ignore this area completely. Since the only stuff here is completely optional. Now what should happen over here is terrible. Yep, there he is. Mr. Wolfman. There's not even any items up here. So yeah, you just run straight forward and that breaks. I think I actually missed the platform I wanted to land on. Can't remember if the item was up there or down here. Well, if it was up there, I'm not getting it, and if it's down here, it's right here. Matter of fact, it looks like it was down here. Alright. So as you can see, if you fall off one of those ledges that collapses, the game is nice enough to not kill you. You just take a little bit of fall damage and end up down here. Which is fine, as my frame rate goes down to 12. Yeah, the game really does not like this area. As a matter of fact, I can show you right now. That's not one of them. Is this one of them? No. These are pretty much, half of these are trees. I've never seen that attack before, actually. I'm used to seeing that attack. That attack's kind of terrible, actually. And there's this one here. This one has killed me a few times. Mostly when I come down the other side. And then he had these disgusting things and a frozen weapon spell. I knew there was something down here. But either way, this just loops back up and around. I don't think there's any spells up there of real note anyway. This one's dead. The trees are coming alive. Not happening. Drink up. That's why the trees suck. Like, their spells do home in for quite a while. But yeah, I'm probably not going to loot that stuff. I think it's mostly just souls and maybe a few moss clumps and stuff. I don't believe there's any kind of weapon or anything up there, so we're going to ignore it. So as usual, when I completed this DLC the first time, I looked it up and found out that once again I'd missed like a whole boss and all that stuff, which I then cleaned up later. But one of the things I didn't do my first time around was cross this bridge, because I'm like, this is obviously a trap. And lo and behold, it's actually not a trap. However, it is a rope bridge. Which means I can take it down behind me, but I'm not going to do that yet. Instead, what I will do is walk up here. All these NPCs are non-hostile. You can attack them if you want. But I completely missed this NPC my first time. And the holo gem. Alright, so it says go inside, but... Oh, you can't actually open this door. Interesting. Interesting indeed. I honestly thought this was locked from the other side. I guess not. Well, alright then. Let me guess, can't get down here? Yeah, I have to go the other way for that. Alright. That makes sense now. That's how they locked it off. Because beyond that door is a lever to open up a secret area in this room. That leads to the boss. Alright then. So she doesn't want us here. Shit, I skipped dialogue again. God. I'm so used to pressing A after every line to like cut off like the 2 seconds of silence. Oh well. So here's the problem with this bonfire. I like to call it the your game might crash when you stand up bonfire. So just to prove my theory. No game crash. So the thing is, this is the closest bonfire to the first boss. And it seemed like every 3 to 4 times I would die on the boss trying it, my game would just crash when I reloaded. So I've dubbed that bonfire the you have a 1 in 4 chance of crashing bonfire. It's really not good. I'm not sure if that was just an issue with it on release or if that was caused by something else, but yeah. So as you can see, someone was having a painting time over here and never really finished. And yet no one's up there, so. Someone wanted to paint something. Someone's clearly an artist. Seems to be a young girl. Or are these all paintings of you? It's hard to tell, really. Well, they could indeed all be paintings of her, actually. Matter of fact, I'll assume that's what they all are. The real question is, did she paint them herself or not? And some of these paintings actually seem to be kind of faded. A lot of them are just the same kind of images recycled, but then there's these really big faded ones.